Hi, and welcome to another episode of Ryan's Ranch Roundup. I'm your host, Ryan Heiss, and today we're going to be talking about rain showers that appear like clockwork during our summer months. And in order to get an education on this, we're going to be traveling to Tampa, WTSP News Channel 10, and we're going to be meeting with meteorologist Mark Collins. Now this is the same gentleman that's helped us with the installation of our WeatherBug live feed weather camera that's located here at our town hall. So, time for a road trip to WTSP News Channel 10. Let's go! We have arrived at WTSP News Channel 10, Tampa, St. Petersburg, and I am with Mark Collins, meteorologist extraordinaire. Great to be with you.
It's wonderful to be here. We're so excited to be part of the Lakeway Ranch community with our new camera there. Whenever the storms come through, we'll be able to show those on television and also get some ground truth, as we call it.
Okay.
When it's raining and it shows it on our radar screens, it's nice to be able to call someone down there and have them tell us, yeah, it's really pouring.
All right, so what I'd like to do today is ask you some questions about our summer rain showers that we have in Southwest Florida. So you just mentioned something very important, and the actual reason that we're here today is around 3 o'clock you can depend on storms. And why don't you please tell us a little bit about why that may be happening?
Well, it's a little bit more than just the timing. It has to do with wind direction, the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, and the peak of our rainy season. June, July, August, the wettest months in Lakewood Ranch. And so when we look at how strong thunderstorms are going to get, you have to look at 3 ingredients. That's 1, the moisture in the air. Is there any instability in the air? And you need some type of trigger. If you have those 3 features, you're going to get some thunderstorms developing.
And those are pretty dependable in those 3 months that you had mentioned.
They are, because usually during those months we have enough humidity in the air. That's the moisture. The instability comes from, well, all the sunshine that we get. It creates really hot temperatures down on the surface where you still have colder temperatures aloft. So the air can rise very quickly, and that makes the atmosphere quite unstable. The trigger would be the sea breezes coming together.
Okay.
And Florida is the most unique spot in the country for having winds coming together and clashing over one particular location. It tends to clash right over Lakewood Ranch and throughout the Suncoast area of West Central Florida.
And I've noticed that sometimes it's driving along I-75, it almost seems that the storms, almost like I-75 is like this invisible barrier where the storms can't pass. Now, is that the coastal breeze keeping the storms from going any further to the coast?
Yeah, there's a reason for why storms line up along I-75. I'll show you around the Manatee-Sarasota County line. We have red. This is a really high concentration of lightning, and right around Hillsborough County. And the reason why we have a lot of lightning here is because you oftentimes have the sea breeze coming in, meeting up with the East Coast sea breeze. So on a okay, here we're looking at West Central Florida and the flash density of lightning. Typically during the summer months, we have a ridge of high pressure which gives us a southeast wind. So with the winds coming off the Atlantic, the storms in this area are not very strong. But by the time they reach the West Coast, it's usually late in the afternoon where the ground is very hot, you have a lot of instability. And usually, Ryan, we have the Gulf Coast sea breeze moving in. And usually it reaches the I-75 corridor by the time those winds come together, and that's where you'll see most of the lightning develop. Every morning around 7 a.m. they launch a balloon. In the summertime it's 8, and that balloon goes up and it measures the wind direction with height. And so when the balloon goes up and it shows us that there's very little wind aloft, winds can be variable or quite light, that's when we can see that a lot of the state is going to be covered with heavy rains and thunderstorms. That's if we have enough moisture. And so that's showing the lightning flash distribution during those events, and we could probably have more rain coming back towards the coast in the evening, and places around Siesta Key and Lido Key will probably see a better chance of that rain reaching the beach. And likewise on the northeast wind, some of those storms will be pushed back. But you notice you don't see many of the reds or greens in there, so you don't have many numerous storms on a northeast wind. So that's usually a drier flow, but the driest flow is when those winds come out of the northwest, which is very rare in the summertime unless it's the sea breeze.
So the three key factors, reviewing this again, to cause the thunderstorms in Lakewood Ranch would be humidity, instability, and a trigger. Humidity being the...
It's so prevalent. It's the humid air that we have coming up from the tropics, the high dew points in the 70s. People from up north are used to dew points in the 40s and 50s. When it gets into the 60s, they feel it's all hot and clammy. But here, we get dew points in the 70s also.
And we're used to it. And the instability comes from?
The strong surface heating of the sun.
Right. Okay, and the trigger is the winds, a collision of the winds. You have your normal southeast flow colliding with your sea breeze, and depending on which is more dominant on that particular day, that is where your thunderstorms are going to occur.
That's where your thunderstorms are going to set up and become the most strongest, right, where those winds collide. And that's the reason why our area is the lightning capital of the United States, because we have this unique geography in our area which allows those sea breezes to come together right over our homes.
Very cool. So your host, Ryan Heiss, here we are, WTSP News Channel 10. I am going to give you your forecast, Lakewood Ranch. Here's what you can expect. Hot and sunny. Probably some thunderstorms. Count on it. Maybe around 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock. Coming back to you, video blog, Ryan's Ranch Roundup.